Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you all know, I love webcomics, especially the gay ones. So it only made sense to talk about another gay webcomic, and after much back and forth and internal debate, I decided to go with Always Raining Here, written by Belle and illustrated by Hazel. Now, Always Raining Here was one of the more popular gay webcomics of its time. Like, if your webcomic is able to reach YouTube of all places, with people making multiple comic dubs and music videos about it, then it's safe to say that your comic is popular. Assuming you enjoy gay-themed webcomics like I do, there's probably a good chance you already read this one. Or maybe not, these are all just assumptions here. But yeah, suffice to say, I definitely remember reading this comic while I was in high school as it updated. And if you want to hear my verdict right off the gate, I think this comic is great and would definitely recommend giving it a read. It's also not that long. You could definitely read it in one sitting if you wanted to. Like always, the link to the comic will be in the description below. If you want more of a taste, however, on what this comic is all about, don't worry, I got you covered. First, starting in January of 2012, Always Raining Here, set in Canada by the way, starts us off with Carter Brooks, a recently out gay high school student who is very horny. Like, he wants to do the deed really bad and even considers Craigslist postings for casual gay hookup sex at one point. Anyways, one day he attends a bookstore called Chapters at the behest of his friend Mike, who's planning to apply for a job there, and it's here where we encounter Adrian Hlavik, simply minding his own business, reading some gay magazine. Carter recognizes Adrian from high school and knows that he's gay as well. And what does Carter do with that information? Well, he proposes to Adrian that they should bang in the very same bookstore behind the shelves right now.
This is what's going on?
It's
What
a lot.
is happening?
Literally.
I need someone to catch. Like, this is insanity.
Yeah, this scene took me out. Like, the sheer audacity to just walk up to someone you barely know and propose public sex in the inside of a Chapters is just... I'm at a loss for words, really. It's almost kind of camp. But suffice to say, Adrian wasn't amused and turned Carter down. Carter, however, isn't one to give up so easily, and proceeds to be Adrian's biggest nightmare for the next month. He stalks Adrian, flirts with him, watches him in the distance during theater rehearsals, and subsequently discovers that Adrian has an amazing singing voice. He even has the time to fill his locker up with a confetti cannon, 78 handwritten love letters, and 2 boxes of Purdy's, which is Canadian chocolate, by the way. So yeah, Adrian can't seem to catch a break, and Carter can't seem to catch a hint. Maria, Adrian's friend, is kind of amused by Carter's antics, however, and even nudges Adrian to give him a chance. Adrian, though, isn't interested in dating someone that only cares about sex, and ultimately shuts Carter down for good while paired up in French class, lying about having a boyfriend to get Carter off his case. Now, for someone that just wanted to get laid, Carter seemed pretty bummed out at Adrian's latest rejection. It wouldn't be until Mike, you know, the friend that dragged Carter to Chapters earlier, spells it out for him. He likes Adrian. Which is kind of a funny realization to have after the non-stop harassment he put Adrian through just to get in his pants, but I digress. Anyways, one of Carter's other friends, Jason, offers to bring Carter along to some big party over at a friend's house. Wanting to drown his sorrows from the pain of rejection, Carter agrees to go. Little does he know, however, that a certain someone will also be at that very same party, and from there, well, stuff happens. Yep, that's right. This is all you're gonna get from me in terms of a preview. Again, this story isn't that long, so I don't want to reveal too much at the risk of spoiling most of it. What I can tell you, however, is that this story deals with flawed, imperfect people. I mean, Exhibit A. I don't think I need to tell anyone here that Carter was pretty out of line with how he treated Adrian earlier, even though the comic generally played it for laughs. For some people that never read the comic, they might be pretty hesitant at picking it up. Why should I read this comic if I can't even root for one of the two main characters? But what I want folks to understand here is that there's more to these characters than meets the eye, whether it be through future actions or simply getting to know them better. Getting to know their outlook in life, their motivations, or lack thereof, their perspective on things and whatnot. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that this comic, in my opinion, does a pretty decent job in fleshing these characters out. In addition to the overall narrative and art style, which does evolve over time, I feel like you end up with a fairly solid gay webcomic, one that is loved and cherished by many, myself included. While I do think a few supporting storylines could have had more of a resolution toward the end, I believe Always Raining Here is a great webcomic overall, and once again, I certainly recommend it. Oh, and yes, as the title suggests, it does rain quite a bit in this webcomic, which is fine by me. I love the rain, I find it very relaxing. Also, this is kind of a side tangent, but when you get a moment, please check out the Always Raining Here dub on YouTube. It's a fan dub made by someone named Gummy, and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I feel like they nailed the voice acting for the characters. They're literally the headcanon voices I use when rereading the comic. Unfortunately, it's since been discontinued with only one video up, but I still definitely recommend giving it a watch. I don't know what it is about me and fan dubs of webcomics in general, but I always get really giddy and excited when I find one on YouTube. It just really makes me happy. This won't be the last webcomic I talk about on this channel with its own separate fan dub, I can tell you that much. But yeah, link to the fan dub will also be in the description below. Okay, side tangent over. I think that's a wrap. Thank you once again for stopping by and have a good one.